My persuasive speech is on why homosexual couples and people deserve the same rights as heterosexual couples and people. What you'll gain from this persuasive speech is what homosexual people and couples have to go through, with the discrimination they have to face, the struggles they go through just to adopt children, and the struggles of being able to get married. For my first persuasive argument, I'm going to talk about why same-sex couples shouldn't be judged for adopting children. And a lot of people believe it's because they won't make good parents because they are the same gender, but this is incorrect. From the article I found called Blood Will Not Justify My Relation, I found that same-sex couples make great parents, and children who are raised in single-parent families typically have access to fewer economic or emotional resources than children in two-parent families. Studies suggest that children who go through multiple changes in family structure may be far worse developmentally than children raised in stable two-parent families. I believe it's better to have two parents than one in this situation, so even though somebody has parents that are the same sex, that shouldn't matter. I also found in this article that one study performed in 2008 used 19 studies to analyze the outcomes of children and parents and did so by focusing on 6 different factors. Results indicated that same-sex parents were found to have better relationships with their children by far than heterosexual parents had with their children. People who believe that a same-sex couple cannot raise a child together because they have the same gender is discriminating, which brings me into my next topic of how discriminated against homosexual people and couples are and how it is very dangerous to them. Homosexual people and couples have been discriminated against every single day, and it has been happening for a very long time. In an article I found called Discrimination in the United States, Experiences of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer Americans, there was a quote that said, "Research demonstrates that experiencing discrimination or harassment has significant and negative consequences for both physical and mental health. This field of research shows that experiences of intact stigma, discrimination, and/or harassment induce psychological, behavioral, and psychological stress responses in the body, and that the impacts of these reactions accumulate over time, leading to a wide range of negative health outcomes and health-related behaviors." This whole source explains the fact that LGBTQ people in the United States have experienced a long history of unfairness, including criminalization and groups as mentally ill, and tries to vigorously change the LGBTQ people's sexual orientation or gender identity, hate crimes and disturbance and dismissal from jobs, housing, and even public spaces. Nobody deserves to be discriminated against, no matter your race, no matter your size, no matter your sexual orientation, and that's what more people need to realize. Even today in 2020, people are still very homophobic towards homosexual couples and people, and it is very dangerous to them. And even though we came a long way with homophobia, we still have a lot more work to do. My next persuasive argument has to do with same-sex people getting married and how it is looked down on. And denying some people the option to marry is discriminatory and creates a second-class citizen. So a quote from Gay Marriage is Good for America that I felt would help me with my argument, and it's, "America needs more marriages, not fewer. The best way to encourage marriage is to encourage marriage, which is what society does by bringing gay couples inside the tent. A good way to discourage marriage, on the other hand, is to tarnish it as discriminatory in the minds of millions of young Americans." Throughout our history, we have always fought against discrimination, and we have always joined together to recognize equality for racial minorities, for women, so we need to do the same for homosexual individuals. Even though same-sex marriage is now legal in all 50 states, we still have homophobia to worry about. A quote that I found from an article called Same-Sex Marriage and the Future of Lesbian and Gay Movement states that we've got marriage, anti-discrimination, and adoption, and once all those are achieved, we still have homophobia to tackle more broadly, which is very true. In conclusion for this specific argument, imagine being with your soulmate, but you'll never be more than acquaintances in the eyes of the world. Same-sex couples and people both need to be treated fairly and not being discriminated against. This still happens every single day. Yes, it's gotten better, but at the same time, us as Americans and us as people can still do better to treat everybody the same and actually prove that we are all equal. You should always remember to treat others the way that you would like to be treated, and you should always treat everybody the same, no matter where they come from, no matter their race, and no matter their sexual orientation, because we are all the same on the inside, and that's something that people should always remember.